Oil and gas operations across the United States are spewing more than 6 million tons per year of methane. It is the main component of natural gas and the most abundant greenhouse gas after carbon dioxide. This emission is causing $9.3 billion in yearly climate damage. According to a study, the problem is both worse than the government thought, but also fairly fixable because more than half of these methane emissions are coming from a tiny number of oil and gas sites. Evan Sherwin, an energy and policy analyst at the U.S. Department of Energy's Lawrence Berkeley National Lab, said, and I'm going to quote here, "This is really an opportunity to cut emissions quite rapidly with targeted efforts at these highest emitting sites." He added, and again I quote him, "If we can get this roughly 1% of sites under control, then we're halfway there because that's about half of the emissions in most cases." Now, methane over a two-decade period traps about 80 times more heat than carbon dioxide, but only lasts in the atmosphere for about a decade instead of hundreds of years like carbon dioxide. About 30% of the world's warming since pre-industrial times comes from methane emissions. The United States is the #1 oil and gas production methane emitter, with China polluting even more methane from coal. According to a report by the International Energy Agency, methane emissions from the energy sector remained near a record high in 2023. Now, what's being done so far? Last December, the Biden administration issued a new rule forcing the U.S. oil and natural gas industry to cut its methane emissions. At the same time, at the United Nations climate negotiations in Dubai, 50 oil companies around the world pledged to reach near zero methane emissions and end routine flaring in operations by 2030.